So, Atomic Heart is going to be coming out, guys, in the very foreseeable future. Very excited for this title. And I wanted to talk, though, about, where is the Atomic Heart multiplayer? Is this something that we're going to be getting at some point in the future? Or, because there was obviously talk that they were going to have a multiplayer in this title from the very beginning. And obviously that has changed. And this is a first-person shooter that I've been, like I said, really excited about. And I wanted to talk with you guys about this. So let's get into it. So guys, in an article coming to us from the folks over at Games Radar and Josh West, there won't be Atomic Heart multiplayer support. There will be no Atomic Heart multiplayer support. The news arrived a couple of weeks ago as developer Mundfish flip-flops on previous statements to now say that the game will be single player only. At one point, the studio said that Atomic Heart would feature dedicated regions where you could fight other players, with the official website even going so far as to confirm the combative spaces. If you are ready to challenge other players, a secret railway will get you to a special region meant for PvP battle. Sadly, game director Robert Bergratuni recently told WCCF Tech that no multiplayer add-ons are planned at this time. And so this really, for me at least, guys, I really feel that this could be a real shot in the foot for Atomic Heart, a game that is starting to build some buzz, some excitement. It's very quirky. It's really, seems to be different in a number of ways. And they decide to pull any multiplayer from it. And I think that this is a massive mistake. I've said this a multitude of times, guys, and I will continue to harp on this. I will die on this hill that if you are developing a AAA title, it should not be considered a AAA title if it doesn't have 3 core elements to it. It's AAA, right? We're talking 3 A's here. So there needs to have 3 things in it. 1 is a campaign, a story mode of some sort. Number 2 is a co-op mode where you can play with your friends. And number 3 is a multiplayer mode where you're able to play with other people across the globe. And the reason why I'm going to die on this hill, guys, is because I've seen so many times where game developers and just, publishers get into this mindset where it's only about multiplayer. Or on the flip side, it's all only about a single player story. And I disagree so heavily with this mindset because I feel that if you're putting and you're dumping all these resources, this development, research, everything into these games, for someone who loves the art of gaming, someone who loves the art of competition, but also loves the art of storytelling, I think that, and I believe I share, there's others that share the same sentiment as myself. I think it's really important that it's a full package. AAA is a full package, or it should be, presented as such. Now, look, I know that there's some games that have broken this mold, that being games like The Last of Us, God of War Ragnarok. I mean, the list goes on and on. Mainly, like a lot of PlayStation titles have done this, where it's only a single player story. And that's totally fine. And I know those games have sold very well. But how much better would they sell if there was a multiplayer that was, added later on? Or it came out with the game. The hype was so big for The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer that there was so much buzz, and then they took it away. Or they didn't release it ever. So The Last of Us Part 2 never got a multiplayer mode. And the first one did have a multiplayer, and it was, beloved by many people. And, the same thing with God of War Ragnarok. I feel like with God of War Ragnarok, maybe a PvP wasn't necessarily like the thing, but having something where it was like PvE, where you could go up against waves and waves of other, gods and these monsters and all this with your friends or, by yourself, whatever it might be. I just think that having multiple ways that you can connect with the universe builds that lore. It builds the legacy of these games. And so if anyone from Mundfish is watching this, please, if you release the game as just a single player story to start, that's fine. But I believe adding multiplayer is crucial, especially when we're talking about a first-person shooter. I think that this could be, I mean, it could be something really special. From seeing the gameplay and all of those things, this looks like something really, really special. I think of games even like, Far Cry, which took so long to really even get even a fraction of a multiplayer mode, which I think that they could have capitalized on it so much earlier. We look at games like Call of Duty. Call of Duty could just release the multiplayer and call it quits and be like, it's just a juggernaut of a game. They're just going to release a multiplayer mode of it, and that's it. But year over year, they're adding multiple modes to really build value. That being like campaign, battle royale, whether it was Blackout, whether it was, Warzone. Call of Duty has built so much value over time. And I just can't, really hurts me that, Atomic Heart is just kind of going, following this trajectory of what some other AAA developers are doing. And that's just, no, we were thinking about a multiplayer, but actually we're going to rip that from the game and we're just going to focus on the single player story. And maybe the multiplayer they felt wasn't compelling enough. Maybe there was a number of reasons why they felt like they shouldn't do it. But I can tell you that if you want to build a culture around your title, it's not going to be just based on a single player story. It's not just going to be based on a multiplayer modes. And the reason being is because if you have multiplayer modes and that's all you have as well, then you can't really build out a story. See, like even a game like Fortnite that is primarily just a battle royale, they still, they have, and I'm sure they're going to continue building out the lore of, like with Save the World or whatever it might be in Fortnite, but they've got this like core audience and then they're creating the story within the multiplayer, so it's a little bit different, and they're keeping people engaged by doing it that way. And Fortnite really, they transcended gaming in a massive way, but they still have more of like a story type of mode where you're kind of learning about this world slightly. And I think that they could definitely expand more upon that. But what I'm getting at is having multiple modes, whether you're talking single player, co-op, multiplayer. That's what makes the AAA package, in my personal opinion. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about this. What do you guys think about Atomic Heart not having multiplayer? Do you think they should bring it? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Atomic Heart content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.